Hi there. This short video tutorial is all about learning vocabulary. As a teacher, I'm very concerned with vocabulary. It's probably my favourite area of teaching, and it's certainly something that I do very frequently with my students. Now, this page looks at a variety of matters. The first matter is the when and how much. What I'm going to say to you is don't try and do too much. 6-7 words a day is plenty. I say this for one very good reason. You're only going to learn words, learn them so that you can use them, if you go back, you repeat, you revise. There are experts who say that you need to actually use a word 6 or 7 times before it really becomes yours. And if you do the sums, that means if you do 6 words a day, that's by the end of a week you're going to be doing 30 words. That's a lot. The next thing I want to mention briefly here is the subject of recording vocabulary, another sort of technical matter and perhaps slightly boring, but necessary. One way of using vocabulary is actually just writing it down, putting it in a list, putting it in a mind map. This is a very personal area, and it's not necessarily a question of what's right, what's wrong. It's only really a question of does it work for you or doesn't it work for you. My own personal view is that you need to use a variety of techniques, not just do the same thing all the time. And from my own personal point of view, again, I'd suggest you try out some of the techniques I show you below and see what works for you. Finally, for this brief introduction, what language do you actually go about learning? There are 2 types of language. There's the language you want to produce, that's your active language in writing or speaking, and there's a language you want to recognize, the passive language for your reading and listening. My suggestion is that you focus more on your active language when you say, today I'm going to do some vocabulary learning. And when you do that, I'd look at 2 or 3 areas. Collocations, i.e. what words go with which other words, the word which comes next. Synonyms, words which have similar meanings but slightly different perhaps. And word families. This is words which are related to the first word, such as, let me think of an example here, holiday and holiday maker. Now, why do I suggest collocations? I suggest collocations because collocations